I am still extremely locked in on projects like Axelar at this point in the market because, again, these are projects that look completely dead. These are projects that might look dead, but when we think about all of the connections and what these projects are capable of doing and what they are actively doing, they are so overlooked, so undervalued, and in my opinion, at this point, with Axelar being down 64% in the last year, extremely oversold as well. We have to talk about this. We have to address it as well because, again, at this stage in the market, we could easily be buying overbought projects that are up 400, 500+% in the last year, but some of these projects are still just grinding around all-time lows. Axelar is one of them. I'm watching to see if we close out, and this is in about 5 days now, close out the weekly candle around the lows from April of this year. And this would be around 29.5 cents. If we can close above 29.5 cents, that's very good. However, if we close below it, it could signal that we could be seeing a new all-time low on Axel. But I'm not worried about the chart all that much because if we think about why Axelar is trading around these lows, number one, it really didn't get a massive, I want to say a massive spike. It definitely did have a nice run up in December, but some of these altcoins made new highs compared to their 2024 highs, and Axelar was one that didn't. Now, Axelar is one of many that didn't as well, but the main thing here is that we didn't stay consistent with creating support around the levels prior to that big move. A lot of altcoins, XRP is a perfect example of this. After it did make a high in December, January or so, it found a lot of support right around the lows prior to us breaking out to those highs. Axelar didn't. Again, a lot of altcoins in the same boat. However, these are the types of altcoins that I am looking at. The ones that are very boring or in a very negative spot. But the main thing here is that all of this down here is major demand for me. Because, again, when it comes to Axelar, what it's doing for crypto, what it's doing for projects like XRP is not going to go unnoticed forever. It's not going to be undervalued forever. People are going to come to the realization that this type of technology is extremely valuable, and we will start to see Axelar really popping off. But yes, we have to get through this negative moment for the price action, for the chart as well. And if we're thinking about Axelar and we go to the Bitcoin chart, we are down about 95, almost 96% against the Bitcoin pair. Does this remind you guys of anything else? Here's ADA back in 2019 and 2020, down 95.5%. Before ADA skyrocketed over, 1,400+%. Guys, I'm not saying that we will see a 1,400% push, but a 1,400% push would take us right back to the highs of March of 2024. However, I don't believe that that's going to be the case on the USD chart, because on the USD chart, we should see, and if we, say for so we bottom a little bit lower, right? I'll make a new all-time low here. Say for so we bottom around like 23 cents. A new all-time high should be created on this chart. Let's just say we match the Bitcoin pair push, which typically it's a little bit more exaggerated on the USD pair. But if we did a 1,400% push, it should take us to about $3.53 or so. That's totally fine with me. That is a conservative outlook as well for Axelar because, this thing could easily hit $10. I wouldn't be surprised, if we did run a little bit higher than $4. But, again, I've said it many times over that this technology that Axelar has and the names that they're working with, it's extremely bullish for a project this size. I know that $300 some million in market cap isn't exactly, cheap, but it is a, smaller cap project compared to some of these top 10, top 15 projects out there that have massive valuations to, tied to them. But also at this point in the market, with Bitcoin dominance being as low as it is, and I still think it's pretty weak. I think that we continue to go lower here, but we're just chopping. I think that these projects are going to start to break out against their Bitcoin pair in a large way. And once we start to see that, the USD chart should rebound in a much larger way as well. But let's talk about a few things. Number one, let's take a quick look at Axelar scan. So cross-chain activity, we see 3.7, almost 3.8 million transactions. The volume is around 12 point almost $2 billion. Total value locked about 1.27 billion. Again, compared to the actual market cap for Axelar, this is comical. ITS is the main one, which is the interchain protocol. This is 1.07 billion. By the way, you can look at the stats of interchain as well. We could see that here. This is like the main thing that I've been watching over the last few weeks, just kind of seeing the growth of it. On the last 30 days, the transactions are like, it's not massive, 112,000. But the main thing here is the volume, right? Which is $165.4 million. So even though the transactions aren't in like the millions, the volume and the value tied to it is still pretty good. Now, again, if we're looking at the transactions and the volume, we could see what's the dominant force here. Most of this is the XRP Ledger EVM, which I'm very excited about. I think that this is great. However, again, if we're thinking about this, last 30 days, $165.4 million moving through, the interchain side of Axelar. Guys, it's $165 million compared to a $300 million market cap. Fully diluted value, $359 million. Again, the growth here around Axelar and the scale of Axelar is only going to continue to rise more and more and more. I'm very excited about this because, again, not a lot of people are paying attention to what Axelar is doing. They're not looking into the network activity. And if you looked into the network activity, you would know that Axelar continues to grow more and more and more. Now, talking more so about this, let's go over here to what's been happening around the Axelar ecosystem. Right off the rip, we did have here from Gallon, we have open connectivity protocols were vital to the internet in the 1990s. They are vital in crypto today. Interop Labs' response to the Senate Banking Committee's RFI on cryptocurrency market structure. And yes, this was their response. Imagine assembling financial services like Lego blocks, secure, programmable, and interoperable across networks. That's the promise of blockchain composability. Now, they did have a response back to the Senate Banking RFI. This was on August 14th. Again, the main thing that we're looking at here is how crucial the tech that Axelar has is to this new world of finance and this new world of tech that's really, becoming very dominant around finance. We're starting to be more adopted than ever with stablecoins, for an example. And, when we look at what's happening here, we could learn lessons from the internet. We have here that open communication protocols can play the same role for finance like TCP and IP did for the internet. We have composability across different financial systems and services, configurable compliance and oversight roles for new connections, unparalleled liveness and access, a regulatory opportunity. Interop Labs recommends that policymakers encourage adoption of open, decentralized interoperability standards, take a light touch approach, support, educate, and adopt, prioritize non-custodial architectures for security control and innovation. And we love this response. This is a great response. Now, the actual, PDF file is extremely long if you want to go and check it out. This is just like a nice summarized view of it. But again, it shows us that Axelar is very serious about what they're doing here. And they want everyone to understand, what they're doing is vital for crypto. It's, just as vital as, TCP and IP, what that was for the internet. That's exactly what Axelar is doing for, crypto and for these networks within the crypto ecosystem. Now, also on top of that, we did hear from Jonathan Morgan as well. And he said, Axelar to Congress, finance needs its TCP/IP moment. Axelar open standards plus composability turn finance from walled gardens into Legos. Shocking, I know. Ask from DC is light touch support and public adoption, not command and control. That's how the internet scaled. Push for non-custodial architecture so users keep keys and regulators keep hair. And yeah, what we're starting to see is these types of names like Axelar really pushing forward for the entire industry. And they're small names. Like Axelar has 217,000 followers. Obviously, it's not like a very small, name ecosystem wise, but, this is a smaller base project when it comes to market cap that's really becoming a key piece of the future for crypto. And they're building out crucial technology for the future of the space as well. Now, on top of all of that, we think about XRP, right? We think about what Axelar has done for the entire XRP ecosystem and what they continue to do. For an example, here we have a breakdown. XRP token transfer volume facilitated through Axelar's interchain token service has exceeded $34 million to date. A total of 1,845 unique addresses have moved XRP across 20 distinct interchain routes, completing 11,350 transfers. August has marked a particularly strong month for interchain XRP transfers, with several days still remaining. Transfer activity has already reached a record high of over 6,000 transactions, representing a total volume of 6.7 million. And we can see that here from Dune Analytics. Analysis of XRP transfers via Axelar's ITS highlights two key contracts: Interchain Token Service Contract, Axelar ITS Hub Contract. On-chain data indicates that while 63.3% of total XRP interchain transfers are executed through the Axelar ITS Hub contract, the majority of the transfer volume, 76.2%, flows through the Interchain Token Service Contract. Examination of transfer volumes reveals that approximately 66% of users conducted XRP transfers of less than $100 each. Conversely, a notable 116 users were identified as high-value participants, each recording transfer volumes exceeding $10,000. The distribution of users by the number of transfers shows that the largest group, 621 addresses, used Axelar's ITS for a single XRP transfer, as the other extreme, 10 users demonstrated frequent activity, each conducting more than 50 interchain XRP transfers. The address, and they do have it here, recorded the highest transfer volume, moving approximately 10.6 million USD worth of XRP via ITS. They also have another one that was utilizing ITS for 132 separate XRP interchain transfers as well. But yeah, when we think about this, this was not possible without what Axelar is providing. And think about this with the EVM sidechain, right? This is all through the EVM sidechain as well. And when we think about what they're doing for XRP and for the entire ecosystem, they are enabling so much more. NFT transfers that are cross-chain, new dapps that could be created cross-chain as well. Also, DeFi. It really enables a ton of growth around the DeFi market for XRP, which if you looked at and watched some of my older videos, you know that one thing that I've always voiced about the XRP ecosystem was the fact that we lacked a ton of DeFi value, because again, for years and years and years, it was so overlooked on the XRP ledger up until just recently with the launch of the EVM sidechain. So when we think about, players like Axelar, they are the enablers of some of the largest things happening around the XRP ecosystem. And this is a project that has, sub $400 million in market cap, and XRP has over $100+ billion. Just think about that for a couple seconds. Axelar is so overlooked. It's so oversold. It's so undervalued in my opinion. And I will continue to say that because, again, I just think that this is going to be a much larger piece of crypto. Right now, we're at number 160 on the top list for crypto. I see us easily breaking into the top 100, eventually the top 50, and who knows from there. But this is going to be one of those shocking projects that, kind of surprised a lot of people that haven't been watching or looking into anything around Axelar. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out.